Okay, mathematics class, training you to excel. Let's see our steps to exam success. Step number 1, plan. Number 2, pray. Number 3, prepare. Number 4, preview. And number 5, perform. Please support this channel by subscribing, give a thumbs up, and share with friends. These are the questions we are going to be looking at today. Question number 6 is on logarithm and arithmetic. Question number 7 will be on trigonometry, specifically angle of elevation and depression. Number 8 will be on statistics. That has to do with calculation of mean and others. Then number 9 will be on graph, algebra, simplification. Let's go. Question number 6. We simplify that expression, change division to multiplication. Then we are now going to break up 35, 49, 56, and 40 into log 7, log 5, and log 8. Now, as you can see, that's 35, next 49, 56, and then finally 40. Then we're going to remove like terms. 8 will go with 8, 5 will go with 5. We're left with log 7 times 7 times 7 times 7, which is log 7 raised to the power 4, which is 4 log 7. Then we'll make substitution, replacing log 7 by 0.8451, and then simplifying. We have an answer for that as 3.3804. Children present the x. Adults then will be x plus 6, since we have 60 more adults than children. So 2x plus 5 into x plus 60 is equal to 1280. Remember, children are to pay 2 and the adults are to pay 5. Simplifying that expression, we have that. Then simplifying further, we have this. Then we can now make 7 as the subject, and then divide both sides by 7. That gives us s is equal to 140. That's the answer for 6a. Then we move to 6b. Number of children is equal to 40. Then the number of adults is equal to 40 plus 60, which is 200. Now, taking ratio, x is to x over plus 60 will be equal to 140 over 200. Simplifying the left side, 140 over 200 will give us 7 over 10. Therefore, in ratio term, the number of children to number of adults will give us 7 is to 10. Then, for question number 2, I asked to find the average amount paid per person. So per person, we have total number of persons in that place will be 140 plus 200, 340. So total amount paid according to the question is 1,280. So divided by the number of people present, 340. Then you have the amount paid per person as 3.7647. Then number 4, percentage profit. Now, profit will give us the amount realized minus the expenses incurred, which will be 1,280 minus 720. So now you make that here. 1,280 minus 720 divided by the cost, 720 times 100. Then you have profit in percentage, you give us 560 over 720 times 100. Profit will give us 77.78%. So that's the profit in percentage. That takes us to question number 7, trigonometry. Now, that's the horizontal ground, and that's the building, the window where the woman is looking out from, and that's the flagpole, the top of the flagpole and the foot. Then we join the top to the window, and then we join from the foot to the window, and we draw the horizontal level and put our 90 degrees. Then, as you can see, that's the horizontal ground. That angle is 44. Angle of depression is always equal to the angle of elevation, because they are always alternate angle. So now we need this angle to be able to do the calculation we are required to do here. So that angle now will give us 25 over 30. Now that's opposite 25. Then the other side will be the adjacent, which is 30. Using calculator to divide that, we have 0.8333. Then that means theta should be arctan, that 39.8 degrees. Now the angle of elevation of the foot of the flagpole is the angle that is highlighted in blue here. So now we're now going to calculate that angle. So phi is equal to 90 degrees minus 38.9. That's 50.2. To the nearest degree, 50 degrees. So that angle phi, or the angle of depression of the foot of the flagpole, is 50 degrees. Now we are going to the height of the flagpole, which is given by the height from the window to the ground level, which is 30 meters, minus x, the height from the window to the level of the flagpole top. So that we have that. So now tan 44, this tan will give us this side over 25. So opposite x over 25 adjacent. Then we divide. Simplify. Substitute the value of tan 44. Then multiply by 25. We have that as x is equal to 24.14 centimeters. So if x is that, then we're now going to calculate the height as this. So the height will give us 30 minus that, and that will give us 5.86 centimeters, rounded up to 6 centimeters to the nearest whole number. Now, number 7b is on circuit geometry. So now, that's the diagram here. So we need to add some things to be able to solve this question. So now, one of the angles we need to get is this angle, base angles of isosceles triangle. This is radius and this is radius. So we have this is equal to 32 degrees, base angles of isosceles triangle. Now, we need to find this angle that is highlighted now, the apex angle of that triangle. So 32 plus 32, the two base angles plus the apex angle is equal to 180 degrees, sum of angles in a triangle. So now we get the other two angles. Angle QOR will be 80 minus 64, gotten by 32 plus 32. That gives us this angle. So now, using this angle that is already highlighted here, we can see that this angle is half of this. And that gives us this. Angle at the circumference is equal to twice the angle at the center. So we now make our substitution, putting in the value of the angle at the center, 116 degrees, divided by 2, have 58 degrees. So therefore, the angle at the circumference, QPR, is 58 degrees. So now, we have added this construction to be able to find that angle. So now this angle now is angle at the center, while this angle is the angle at the circumference. So we now need to get that. Now we have that is equal to this 30 degrees. Remember this is radius and this is radius. So that means these two angles are equal. Base angles of what? Isosceles triangle. So we now add them, and that will give us 180 degrees. So now the two base angles will be equal to 180 minus 30. That's the sum of the two base angles. Simplifying further, we are going to have the sum of the two base angles will be 150. Then one of them, which will now represent as TQO, is equal to half of 150, which is 75 degrees. That gives us the answer to that question. That will take us to the next question in our presentation. Question number 8 is on statistics. Here we have the marks scored by 50 students in a geography as shown on the screen already. You have seen that we are asked to make a frequency distribution table, calculate the mean mark of the distribution, and then percentage of students who scored more than. Now let's see how to solve this problem. Now we have this. We really need to pick out the number that belong to specific classes, but let's make a table. And then let's now create the classes. We have class 21 to 30, 31 to 40, and finally 71 to 80. So now we're now going to sort out these classes now. So we have this. We have two of them, tally 2, frequency 2. Then we'll move to the next class. You can see, you can count them as the numbers are changing color. You can see they are 10 in all. Then we go to the next class. You can count along. At the end of the counting, you discover that we have a total of 12. Then the next class, the blue color is being highlighted for the next class. At the end, you see that we have a total of 15. Then the next class, highlighted in red, will give us a total of 8. The last class, just 3 of them, a total of 3. Now, the arrow here is telling us that we need to calculate the sum here. So we're now going to get the sum. So now, that's the class divided by this to give us this. Then the next will be the next class, this plus this divided by 2. That gives us what should be here. The next class, this divided by this will give us this. So now, following that, we add the difference, which is 10. This will be 55.5, 65.5, and 75.5. Then the next we are going to do is to find the product of the frequency and the class center. We click. Now the product will give us 2 times 25.5. That's this multiplied by this, 51. The next will give us this multiplied by this, and that will give us the answer 355. The next will be 12 times 45.5. And that gives us the answer 546. The same way we can now multiply this and this to get this, multiply this and this to get this, multiply this and this to get this. So we have that. Then we use calculator to add the summation of the product of frequency and the class center. Then when we add all these things, our answer will be 2,535. Then we are now in place to calculate the mean. Now the formula for the mean of a group distribution is given by summation of the product of frequency and the class center divided by the summation of frequency. Now you can see the summation of the frequency and the class center is 2,535. Then the total frequency is 50 as we have in the question. So we now make direct substitution. We have that divided by this. Now using calculator, we can divide that to get the mean as 50.7. The next is to find the percentage. Now we are going to find those who scored 60 and above. 60 and above will be 8 plus 3, and that will give us a total of 11. So now let the percentage be P. Then P will be 11 over 50 times 100 over 1. Simplifying that, we have the percentage of those who score 60 and above is 22%. That takes us to the last question in this presentation. Question number 9. Then we are to simplify this. That gives us this. Then we cross multiply. This will cross multiply. Remember here is minus, so we are now going to have minus that. Then this cross multiply this, we have this, and then multiply across, we get this. Then we are now going to show how to simplify this. So let's see how that can be done. This multiply this to give us x squared. And then x again will multiply 3 to give us plus 3x. And then minus 2 will multiply s to give us minus 2x. And then minus 2 will multiply plus 3 to give us minus 6. Now following the same process, we can multiply x plus 2 and x minus 1 to get this. And then this is repeated. Then we simplify the numerator here, we have this. As is seen on the screen now, the denominator still remains the same. Then simplifying the numerator further, we are going to get this and then over this. Now you can see here we have minus x squared and plus s squared, they can cancel each other, and then minus x and plus s will also cancel. So giving us finally 6 plus 6 minus 2, which is 4. Then over the denominator. That gives us the answer for number 9A. Then number 9B, we have that, and we're going to bring out this equation to be able to solve that. So now we write the equation, we have that. Then we're going to make substitution. The first one 0, 0, we're going to replace s with 0 and y with 0. So now that gives us replacing y with 0, x with 0, and then x with 0. And then we're going to have c is equal to 0. So I've gotten the first one, c. Then repeating the same thing here, we're going to replace y with 4. So, and then x with 1. And then x with 1. Then we now have the equation 4 is equal to a plus b plus c. Remember, c is equal to 0. So now doing the same thing for the second one, and then we replace y by 10, x by 2. We are going to get the final equation as 10 is equal to 4a plus 2b plus c. Remember also that c is equal to 0. Putting equation 1 into equation 2, we are now going to have that. Repeating the same thing for the other one, we are going to have this. Then we'll have two simultaneous equations to solve in A and B. Simplifying those equations by adding 3 and 4, we are going to have this. So we'll have this 5 is equal to 2a plus b. Solving the equation 4 and 5, we're now going to get a is equal to 1. So we've gotten c and a. Then we're now going to put a equal to 1 in equation 4. Then that leads to b is equal to 3. I've gotten a is equal to 1, b is equal to 3, and c is equal to 0. So now, substituting back to in the original equation, we are now going to get finally that 0 is equal to x squared plus 3x, which we can factor, which can easily factorize. We then have 0 is equal to x bracket s plus 3 bracket closes. Now that implies that x is equal to 0 or x plus 3 is equal to 0. Then x is equal to 0 or x is equal to minus 3. So the other root of that quadratic equation is s is equal to 3. That brings us to the end of this presentation. Remember to subscribe so that when the next video is released, you will get notified. Thank you very much.